All right, welcome to another episode of XN Interviews. I'm your host, XN. Joining me, as always, is JX. How you doing tonight, man? Yeah, so much news. Joining us tonight is our guest, MP Blaze. Some of you guys may have seen him on YouTube. He is a part of the content creator program, I believe, and yeah, it'll be a good time talking to him. How you doing tonight, man?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me tonight.
Absolutely. You're one of the people that I wanted to reach out to in the beginning. I just really didn't have a way to reach out to you, I guess. Now we've got a bigger platform, so felt it was the right time.
Oh, there we go. Glad it worked out.
Yeah. Um, how long have you been playing, and what kind of got you into playing Marvel Contest of Champions?
So I've been playing, I want to say it was the January after release. So I don't get that special title for being one of the first few that played. And I think I missed it by 1 or 2 months, which is kind of silly, but and what actually happened was I was just looking for a mobile video game where you actually kind of fight instead of just, like Marvel Slap where you play a card or just watch animations. You actually control things. And I stumbled up across this. It was super interactive. Winning and losing was technically based on how I performed and not just like watching or turn-based. And yeah, it was Marvel themed. So at the time, it was like the height of the MCU, and I was really into it and getting into the storylines, and the rest is history from there.
Very nice. Sorry. Yeah, my kids were screaming. Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine.
We just came back from Easter and they're excited, so they had a bunch of candy and
Oh, I got it. I got my two are asleep in the other room, so.
Yeah, okay. Um, but yeah, so what kind of got you into starting YouTube and stuff like that?
Oh, that was so the year that's a long story. Um the year that COVID hit, I started taking war, I wouldn't say a bit more seriously. But I was definitely on my phone like most everyone else a lot more. Um, and I got to a point actually with my current alliance, SSX, um, where we decided to push, I think it was map 7 at the time, and see if we could handle it, or most of the alliance could handle it. And when I realized I could keep up with the cost of it, and the skill required for it, a light bulb kind of went off on my head that I should probably push myself a bit harder to play war at a higher level. And that's when I found New Nation. So I ended up in New Nation, ended up taking anywhere from 9 to 13 fights a war because at the time boss rushing was a thing. And I had all these recordings that I was deleting every season, um, whether they were duplicates or whatnot. And I tried to hold on to as much as I could as references for the rest of the alliance. And then I just kind of figured, hey, let me go ahead and start adding commentary to this to give people a vocal feedback on what my mindset was and what the game plan was so that they can learn off of this and maybe help them with their war experience. And that's where YouTube came in. So I'd say I started doing that and I was like, all right, well, my niche thing is that I'm in a top 3 alliance at the time. So I would assume my commentary is very valuable to a lot of people. But then I took advantage of a early release bundle and pulled Mr. Negative, ranked him to rank 3, took him to war like the next day, and then there was just clips upon clips of me taking things with Mr. Negative in war. And that kind of exploded my channel. Yeah, it was great. I mean, like he's a very flashy character and unfazed exists. But yeah, I clicked with the character. I pulled him. I was super surprised that I pulled him. He was really cool from the videos. And just I was like, wait, these are the nodes in war that I can take with him. Let me try this. And at the time, my officers, I was an officer, I think at that time, were like, yeah, we trust you to figure this out. Let's see if it works. And sure enough, Power Snack 22 was my fight almost every war as long as Mr. Negative could take it. Yeah.
So, what are some things that clicked for you with Mr. Negative?
So just the smoothness of how to play him. Really ramping him was a lot of fun. You had various ways you could ramp him, but also while you were ramping him, you were still doing these small bits of damage, especially with a dupe Mr. Negative, where if you were playing him to his strength, in his best matchups, he was doing damage as you ramped him up through that punishing nullify. And then once you've set everything up in the perfect way, and it was really cool to set it up because it involved two evade counters, you threw this massive special two that didn't hit really hard, but just degen the opponent down. So it was really flashy getting to that point, and you were doing a lot of damage and countering a lot on the way. The fights he wasn't built for, you could still do the same thing as long as you could evade counter pretty much, and they didn't shrug debuffs. So it just felt like a really I just clicked with him. It just felt good in my hands. I understood his kit. Um, and yeah, that was pretty much what got me to use him a lot. So yeah, I mean, it was probably the first time that like a new champ had clicked with me too. I really spent a lot of time reading his kit and just kind of fell in love with the game again and the kits, the complicated kits that were coming out with new champions.
Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
I was gonna say, do we have a kid alert again? Um, so prior, I never like latched on to a character. Even Mr. Negative, I do enjoy him, but at this point, I'm not like latched onto him. He's just someone that I can pick up without practicing, and I'm comfortable with how complex he can be if you're not used to it. Um, at the time, Shang-Chi was pretty big too, and I really liked his kit, especially his utility through block. Um, prior to that, I was mostly quaking, using Human Torch because before that, before I even got to noon, there weren't globals or anything. So it was really just like, hey, MP has this champion, let's send him at this fight. We're really not sure how it's gonna go. But if there's anyone who's gonna figure out how to get out of these fights, it's gonna be him. And I actually remember way back when Medusa was a threat and it was the old war map, and Medusa was pretty horrible on a buffet node. It was path 6. I was actually using Ghost Rider at the time. So that's where the MP Blaze kind of comes from. Ghost Rider was like, there's no reason MP should be taking this fight or winning this fight, but he's going in with Ghost Rider, and look at that, he came out with like 15% health and clutched the fight. So yeah, the MP's initials. So pretty simple. Right. It was probably my only it was my only name change too. I used to have initials and then middle name for my whole gamer tag, and that was because Xbox gamer tags. That's what I was using. And then just Ghost Rider kind of fell into place. I went, all right, let me just go ahead and change it to MP Plays.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what progression are you right now?
I'm Paragon.
Okay. So have you completed all content in game?
Yeah. Definitely waiting on 8.2. But yeah, all acts are done. Um, all back issues are done. Yeah.
Okay.
Just got the
Um.
monthlies.
Yeah. So speaking of 8.2, are you excited for the rewards coming out for that?
Yeah. I think I'm treating this how I usually do with most acts, and a lot of times these acts fall around maybe some big offers. So this one will fall right around or will be out for a little bit before spring cleaning or whatever that Deadpool thing is. I didn't watch the whole stream. I needed to watch the whole thing. Um, but yeah, what I normally do is when 8.2 or something like this comes out, I do the quick completion run, see how bad it was, get a feel for it. I'm not going to try and be the first person to 100% it. And then based off of that first run or what I'm seeing other people say, I'll take advantage of the offers coming up if I had already planned on spending. If not, then I just won't. And I'll take my time finishing content and get the rewards when they come.
Very nice. Um, do you expect to see any 6-star shards or like rank materials for 7-star shards? Or I meant seven. Do you expect to see 7-star shards and or rank materials for 7 stars in the completion or exploration deals?
For the deal at the end, probably for exploration. Completion, I'm not 100% sure on, to be honest.
Okay, very nice.
Probably
Yeah.
some ring
So
materials for that.
okay, are you excited for the 7 stars coming up?
Yeah, I actually really like the pool. I'm in SXX and SSX. And we've heard the joke that the pool's kind of centered around our picks. Um, but to be honest, I've like going through the whole MCOC and then eventually getting to noon. I never had the top OP characters, so I didn't really use those in my content or to fight with. Um, so I'm very much used to just, reading kits, finding the niche way they counter some of the content, and then clearing the content with the niche champion. Um, so the pool, I love the pool because I can make a lot of those champions work. And I just see it as like another tool in a tool belt.
Mhm. Okay. So, is there like one champ that you're more excited for than another?
Um, I would have to say Mantis.
Mm,
I really enjoy her kit and it's getting a buff, so that's nice. So that
yeah.
it's not, you lose all out on all of the damage after the special too. But Mantis and then probably Shuri after that.
Story. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. I just got Shuri as a 6-star the other day, and from the last side quest, I got the Awakening Gem, and it was tech. So I'm thinking about using it on her,
Oh, cool.
but I'm not sure on who to use it on. I've got Omega Sentinel as well that I could probably use it on. Not sure who to use it on.
Yeah, but
Play both characters. See what you like.
yeah, both are. I wouldn't say they need their sig. Both don't need their
I
sig.
also have Penny. Penny Parker is another one that
Ooh,
I
I
could
might
awaken.
do that one.
She has eluded me.
Me too.
Okay. Um, so is there a 6-star champion that you're still chasing like Penny Parker?
No, I wouldn't even say I'm chasing Penny.
Okay.
I'm kind of with the announcement of 7 stars. We have to really think about who we're gonna rank 5.
Hmm.
Um, since I'm not gonna be the first to complete content and I'm not in any rush, I'll clear it when I clear it. I don't expect to, try and get a rank 5 6-star as soon as possible. I'm gonna have to, play that when I get to it, or that bridge when we get to it, when are we gonna cross it and how are we gonna cross it? So when I have the materials, I'm probably going to be looking at what 7 stars I have and then what current rank 4s I have to decide what to rank 5. It's not likely that it'll be a champ that I don't have.
All right. What was I gonna ask next? I was gonna say, were you in SSX last season?
Yeah, yes, it was.
Okay. Well, congratulations on getting first place, right? You guys got first last season?
We got top 10 in
Top
war.
10. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I could have swore you guys won a season, didn't you? Like it
SSX.
was like two
No, we haven't
seasons ago.
gotten first. No,
No, you haven't. Okay.
no, we're not, and we're not
Maybe
really
you'll.
actually trying to push for top 3. It just kind of, if it happens, it happens.
Okay. Yeah. So, what kind of pressure do you receive in stuff like war for top 10 alliance?
So a lot of it's my own pressure. Um, SSX is a pretty good environment. There's not a lot of people pushing you to, go deathless or don't die or you'll get chewed out, stuff like that. It's more of an easygoing alliance, like let's try out this champion because we think it'll work, or we know this is the matchup that'll work. Let's go into this fight. Um, Record it if you can. If you can't, great. We're still going to coach you on it on the way in. And if you die, let's take a look at the recording or talk about what you did and see how you can improve or do better next time. Um, we don't like people to go in without a game plan. We understand schedules and stuff like that happens. But that's not us giving, I would say, the member a pressure to go into the fight and actually, don't die. Um, the pressure's all my own. It's from being in the top three with New Nation when they were making the top three runs consistently, and they're back at that now. Um, and there was just a lot of pressure not to be the one to die there, because yeah, it was probably going to be a pretty toxic environment in the main chat if you were the reason we lost the war. Um, and a lot of that has carried over from New Nation to SSX.
Okay, very nice. Jay, you got another one up there?
Yes, Char, he asks, what's your favorite class?
Oof. I was actually thinking about this the other day, and it might be involved with the fact that I was clearing Thronebreaker EQ at this moment, but I actually really like the skill class.
Hmm.
Second would have to be science.
Very nice. Okay. Does I mean, who are you using in the skill class? Is it
Oh man.
Mantis and who else?
Mantis, Shang-Chi, as rank fours, Valkyrie, Shang-Chi, Jabari Panther, who's kind of slept on here and there. And then I just enjoy using Black Panther, OG, Black Widow, Deadly Origin. I really love using Ronin. So like the skill class, there's just a lot to it. And then Atuma came out, and Atuma is really interesting. So I enjoy using him as well. No, I just get a lot of there's a pretty good questing rush from them as like just set up go 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 that I get from playing them.
Okay. Um, what else you got over there, Jay?
Okay. This is one of my favorite questions. If you could add one character to the game, who would you pick?
I mean, we're all waiting for Mystique.
Ooh,
I would love to
Nice.
get Mystique in at some point.
that's a good chance. At the beginning of next year, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, let's go.
What do you hope? Like, a lot of people say they want her, right? And they kind of, she's someone who can shapeshift, but
Yeah.
she can't copy powers. She can only shapeshift. She's a mercenary. Like, what kind of would you want from her character that intrigues you?
I mean, like you said, it's the assassin kind of esque about her. Right now you've got Mantis who has both intimidate and infuriate, and you use that to manipulate your opponent to ramp yourself up and then land a big special too. Um, you've got other assassins that kind of shut the opponent down, like Black Widow and pre 12.0, where they basically couldn't do anything if she was attacking them. I would say I would be looking for some sort of meld in that situation. Like you either have someone who shuts the opponent down, like you have to pick two play styles. You either shut the opponent down because they don't know who's attacking them, quote unquote, or you manipulate them so that you can, build up to this big hit, whether it be a heavy, a special two, special ones back to back, who knows, kind of like Mantis does.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Definitely plays well into like understanding her character, and especially like I was reading the comics, and like she's never technically an X-Men except for the time she's pretending to be an X-Men, and it's kind of funny.
Huh.
Yeah, like she's actually just an X-Men member. Like she shapeshifted into them, and no one realized it was her until it was too late. So I can definitely see that in her kid. I would actually really like that. You know, Kabam, take notes.
I'll talk to DLL.
Oh yeah, man. He was talking to I forgot what character. He said one of his characters on the stream. He's like, this character could be. It's kind of hard to do, right? You know, kind of like we've talked about it with Absorbing Man, how he has to change textures and whatnot. So they have the technology to do it, and it's really exciting if they can do it correctly. Okay. What we spoke about, Antreus Wu. Is he referring to something, or is he talking about what we're talking about? I don't know if you recognize.
Who? Sorry, I don't have the right chat open.
Okay, I'm live on YouTube, so this is Antreus
got it.
Wu. He said, "Hi, what we spoke about."
No, I don't. The name I have to check.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I don't know if he's talking about what we're talking about right now, which we're talking about
know.
Mystique coming to the game, which hopefully comes true. Hey, what's up, Mystique?
Yeah, maybe he's making a joke about me already speaking to DLL.
Oh, okay. Since start we got here. Haha, yes. Talking about Champ MP Blaze
okay, there we
game.
go.
He said Mystique. Ah, yeah. So since okay, got it. Cool.
I got the chat open now.
All right, sweet man. Thank you. Okay. Well, I'll talk. I want to go back to YouTube. What's kind of some of your favorite videos or favorite war fights that you have on your channel?
So many. If it's not apparent by the war rewards video, I do like to take in multiple champs instead of being stuck with like 10. I'm trying to think of a fight that I did recent. Oh, Quicksilver was recent. That's who was recent. War 2 this season. In the off season, I've been pushing kind of content about how well he actually does Mystics on Path 5. And it's a very common tactic for a lot of alliances to slap like 3 Mystics all over Path 5 in Section 1 so that you can't really stack too many Human Torch Nova Flames, especially last season because he was whitelisted. And this season, I was actually right before that Mexico trip. I had convinced the officer for BG2 who was planning at the time to let me use Quicksilver for Path 5 in Section 1 in season. So that I didn't have to wait for someone else who was going to take a later fight Sasquatch on 48 with Doom, since Quicksilver can technically cover that one and Path 5A. And it worked out. It ended up being a 10-fight war, and Quicksilver had 2 fights. Yeah, I think 2 fights. And I was so happy about the performance for that war.
Sweet.
And we lost that war. That was the other.
Damn.
It wasn't my doing, but it
Yeah.
was just Salty's been doing really well this season. Only died 2 times.
Very nice. So do you normally take 10 fights in a war?
No. I used to when I was with New Nation and we were doing that boss rushing strategy. But with SSX, we take a lot of time to kind of even out the fights so that no one gets overloaded, unless the planner really, like the person planning, really wants a lot of fights. I'm talking to you, nerd. No, we try to balance it out. And honestly, as far as boosts and, keeping loyalty stashes high, it's smart to keep fights in between the 6 to 4 range per person. So that's where I'm usually at.
Okay. Yeah, I think I usually take about 4 or 5 fights. I take the left side. What is it, lane 3? So yeah, so it's like I pretty much use Gallon and Hulkling.
Yeah, it's Gallon Hulkling all day.
yeah, it's Gallon Hulkling and then CGR for one fight, pretty much.
Right.
But, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I'd rather just be the role player, like tell me what you want me to do and we'll make it work.
Yeah, it seems like anybody that places on the left side is usually tech heavy. So it's like, I don't know, it's easy. Seems.
Yeah. It should be easy as long as it's planned right.
Right. And you have the right counters.
Yeah.
Right. So as an officer, did you do much planning for wars at all?
So when I was with SSX before leaving and going to Noon, I was a main planner and it was burning me out. Um, and then I went to Noon and I only had to plan for two seasons. Yeah. It was right before we stopped boss rushing. I think we might have boss rushed 2 seasons, and I only planned for one of those. And then after that, I let someone else. I was better at being told what to do than telling others to do, because I would just stare at my phone and wouldn't leave it for the rest of the night. Because it wasn't enough to just plan. It was also communicating, making sure people were prepared, making sure people were moving in a timely manner for everyone else, making sure if someone died, you were there ready to, coach them through the second attempt if it was going to be them, whether it was them or not. Um, and then same here with SSX. I'm an officer for BG2, but I don't do the main planning. I'm there to just kind of communicate and catch any mistakes or any, ideas or counters that we need to think of while we're planning or while the war is playing out. And it's lower stress that way. Than having to plan all the time. And I actually planned today, I think for the first time this season. So I've kind of been
Yeah.
at my phone like I described earlier, a little bit more than I normally am.
Right. So, you say you stare at your phone for hours looking at ways to plan the war. Is there anything that like stresses you out, or anything that's easy about planning war?
So coming up with the counters, pretty easy. Um, Placing players is also somewhat easy. Getting timing right is a little bit more stressful. You don't know everyone's schedule. You don't know when they're going to be busy or randomly not busy. Or sorry, randomly busy and random and actually not busy. Um, I'd say the stress of it is making sure everyone's prepared. Like I don't like sending someone to a new fight and not really talking through it with them. And what will stress me out until the fight is done is that fight I have to talk about pages upon pages of text about.
Yeah.
Because you're
You
worried, hey, did I just go throw this guy in to his
Hmm.
death, or is he gonna win this fight? Does he know what I'm talking about? Or can I find a video? No, I can't find a video. Great. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah. Jay, you got another one over there?
Yeah, I'm just reading chat. Yusuf Now Horny says, my hero, my hero OMG, it's MP Blaze. Chris says, great plan today too. Char says, you served on your plan today. Nimrod and Omega said, no sweep.
Yeah, I was really I got to send him the synergy team with Nimrod and Omega Sentinel, and I got excited for him.
Nice. That's awesome.
If he had some of my rank 4 champs, I would have tried to switch.
Hell
That's
yeah.
dope. Um. So, is there anything you're looking forward to, the new AQ and or AW changes?
Yeah, so I don't normally plan, but I know that I can do it and I know I can be very good at it. My big time constraint, as you would probably know, XN, is that I have kids around me all the time until they go to bed. And that means from the start of the war till about 8 p.m. if they go to bed. So about 6 hours. There's no way I'm going to be able to sit down, stare at my phone, come up with a plan, give everyone this feedback on how to approach everything, uh, while my kids are awake. And with that new planning period that they're talking about potentially bringing in, where we set our defense and forget, it means I can take some of the load off of other officers from time to time, more often than I am now, and actually help plan because we have what, almost 48 hours to clear a war map now
Hmm.
in that scenario. So I'm really looking forward to that planning period.
Okay. Yeah. I think it'll be good. I think it could be good, could be bad. I mean, the wars are going to be a little bit longer, yes, but your defenders aren't going to be locked up, and you'll have more time to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely some good there.
Yeah,
Um,
there are gonna be plenty of negatives that come out of it. I mean, the most common negative feedback that I've heard about it so far is the people have more time to kind of take their time to clear war, and now you're waiting on your alliance mate to clear the fight that is blocking your fight.
Yeah, I could see that where the paths interchange
Yeah.
or combine. Yeah, converge, whatever you want to say. Um, what about the AQ changes? Are you excited for those at all?
Yeah, those are, I mean, AQ is tedious. We all know that. So setting it up to where we don't have to, like a specific battle group can take their AQ days on the ones that work best for them where they're not as busy is pretty nice. And I'm sure we're just going to end up with a bunch of people not doing it on the weekends. Um, so yeah, the AQ changes are going to be huge.
No more AQ on the weekends.
Pretty much. I mean, there's some alliance mates in SSX that are actually more active on the weekends. Um, but that just means you can group them all in one battle group and then yeah, have your AQ weekends.
Right. Yeah. Um, I think that's probably one of the biggest changes. That's biggest like best change. That's probably going to be the best one.
Yeah.
What else you got over there, Jay?
Yes. You've been in the CCP for around a year. Do you kind of want to discuss what have you used it and your like what's good? Got any opinions on it?
Yeah. The same challenges that I'm sure other people have, maybe just me with Discord. Not actually using Discord, but the fact that there are people in the CCP that are constantly talking all the time and have a lot to say. And if there's a topic you want to be involved in, you have to kind of be there at the right point in time. And you could be there again all day discussing that one topic. And I think I mentioned that to you, Jay, before we
Mm-hmm.
started this interview, that like that's probably one of the challenges for me. If I were to sit in the CCP chat and actually talk about a topic that's, at the peak of its discussion, I would not get anything else done. It's really hard to stay engaged in the full conversation and see it till the end. Um, and then move on to another topic. Sometimes the topics maybe last 30 minutes that everyone's discussing, and then suddenly there's this new thing we got to talk about in another thread of the server. So that's probably been one of the biggest challenges. Um, that and consistently making gameplay videos for new champs. Um, I was trying to kind of work out I'll do this every Wednesday live before the crystal drops or, after the embargo date. But again, with kids and stuff, it always ends up falling behind war videos or, isn't going to happen unless I pull this champion on the live server and I start using them more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get that. With the new champs, I mean, even being a part of the CCP, I barely find time to even log into the beta server.
Right. And I'll
Um,
go play with them a little bit. Because the backstory to me going into the CCP, the whole motivation was to kind of, be engaged in reworks and
okay,
balancing and stuff like that. That was really what I wanted to focus on. So I have to have some kind of knowledge of new champs and how they play to be a part of that discussion.
okay. So, what do you like about Shocker so far? Have you played around with him?
I have not played around with him yet.
Okay.
He's
See,
dope.
just getting back on that whole time thing.
Yeah, I feel you. I haven't got to play around with him yet either. Have you, Jay?
Yeah, a little bit. He's really simple, and really fun. Like I think like when I saw the deep dive and I was like, dude, I gotta play this dude, man. And obviously the deep dive was bugged, just for FYI. If, like I know if that conversation's still around. He
Yeah.
was bugged, and the CCP found the bug, and hey, he's fixed. And to fix a champion that quickly is pretty awesome. I mean, it was false numbers, but it was pretty cool. Like he's really fun doing heavies and doing the specials, and yeah, I'm really excited. He's a character I didn't see predicting, and to come to the game because he's one of my favorite characters. Like the famous scene of Symbiote Spider-Man and Shocker from the the animated Spider-Man show is a classic.
Shocker.
Yeah, it's so over the top, and I love it. So yeah, he's pretty cool. If you guys get a chance, I would definitely play around with him.
Yeah, I remember reading his kit when the spotlight dropped, thinking, this might be like a heavy hitting uh, BG champion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And and he came, yeah, because he came out already. I haven't seen any BG videos of him, but I'm curious to see how he'll play there.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be some pretty short fights. Um, yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell, I've seen some deep dive videos and a few like live stream showcases or whatever. Yeah, I mean, he can put out some pretty gnarly damage.
Oh yeah.
I'll be
Oh
excited to see what Sandman can
yeah.
do.
Yeah, his kit looks interesting.
I have not played him.
Yeah,
I have not
haven't
either.
messed around with it. Yeah, I haven't either. Who did you vote for in the Summoner's Choice vote?
Oh man, I started out with Bullseye, obviously.
Yeah.
From the
All right.
skill, I wanted someone who was like really focused on in the skill class. And
Yeah.
then when he dropped down, I went White Tiger.
Cool.
Um, yeah, I was like, all right, well, they've done a Cosmic and they've done a Science Champ. Let's do Mystic.
Right. Right.
You would think they would just go around the class wheel until all are hit and then do it again.
Dude. I'm hoping Agatha joins this year, because she was the runner up the previous vote. And I think,
Yeah.
like, I'm really thinking, like, Monica Rambeau from we'll get into the MCU later.
Spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah. With the movie being delayed, I really hope Agatha joins with Monica because it can kind of be like a WandaVision late kind of thing. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. They could sell that.
They definitely could.
I mean, the second character for those movie releases never ends up having that much screen time, anyways.
Yeah. Poor
So with
Ventura.
Agatha Harkness, what do you think her kit would look like?
Say again?
Oh yeah, Agatha's kit.
With Agatha, what do you think her kit would look like?
I think we would fall back into spells, right? Be
Yeah.
like a long thing, but a short play.
It was the post. Remember, because they said this Quicksilver's kit would be focused on this, and Agatha's kit would be focusing on placing sigils on the ground.
Oh.
Is what it said.
So is that like traps and stuff?
Perhaps.
Yeah,
Oof.
seems like it.
That'd be gnarly. Yeah. Okay.
Could be interesting.
Yeah.
Seems fun.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah. All right. A bit like Craven, I guess.
Yeah. Probably more like Zemo.
Yeah.
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 So who are some of your favorite champions that would have been released this year?
Well, I mean, I have to go with Absorbing Man.
Hell yeah.
I gotta wait. Let me pull the list up. Hold on. I don't want to get this wrong. So I was about to say Spot, and I was like, no, that was the end of last year.
Yeah, it was last year. I have my graphic for you, so I'll send it to the chat if you need it.
Yeah, let me check it out.
Okay. Quick story. Somebody asked in the chat, what is Absorbing Man immune to? And somebody said belly. Somebody said belly fat.
That's funny.
And then somebody else asked, is he immune to Kingpin's heavy attack? And then somebody else says he would shred Kingpin and his red wine fancy cheese eating ass or some shit like that. It's funny.
Yeah, so yeah, Absorbing Man. And then Viv. I actually 3-star Viv. I got an opportunity to play for during the 3-star tourney for BG's for Vega's tournament. And I actually really enjoyed her kit. Very interactive playing with her.
Dude,
That
cool.
special 2-tap.
Very nice. Yeah, so speaking of Vegas tournaments, how many have you been in?
I think 3.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure 3.
And this is the 3-star one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the one I got knocked out last week was the 3-star one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what have been some highlights or downsides to being in these battleground tournaments?
Wouldn't really call it a downside, but it's definitely an eye opener to be thrown in a tournament with very skilled players when you compare it to just the BG climb. Because if you go through Victory Track, you're not going to face everyone that you're facing in this tournament for every match, whereas in this tournament, it's isolated to just these people. Um, so instead of it being like, sometimes you get an opponent that you outmatch, sometimes you get an opponent you outdraft against, sometimes you get an opponent you just play better than. While you go through the victory track, you end up having like the top of the gladiator circuit all in a tournament, which kind of humbles you a lot.
Yeah.
But what I have enjoyed, especially with the 3-star one, is being able to like study opponents, get a feel for how to draft, practice how to draft, and then just, while the pressure is on, show up. It's been pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Um, Vega talks a lot about how there's a little bit of added pressure to you guys streaming live, and I wanted to know how much pressure do you think it adds to streaming Battlegrounds live versus just doing it for fun?
Oh, I mean, a lot. If I'm doing it just at home for fun, no one can see that I lost.
Right.
Unless it was someone I knew and they posted in another chat. Even then, it didn't go on. No one was watching during it. When you're streaming, yeah, everyone watches your move. You're gonna get questions about what you did, why you did this, why you did that, why didn't you do this. So yeah, the pressure's on. The thing that I carry over from War that I do with BG live streams, and it's not a 100% perfect kind of situation, is that if you treat every fight like there's pressure, then that's just another day. Um, so if I'm treating BG matches as I go through the victory track like someone's watching, then it won't be any different than when I stream it live.
Okay. That's a pretty good headspace to have going into to fights, I guess. Just pretend like everyone's watching all the time.
Right. Then it's just habit.
um, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I need to do that because like I struggle with streaming and then like kind of like playing at my best. Like I play my best when I'm not streaming, and it sucks because when I stream, it's like, oh man, I look so terrible.
Yeah. I'm the same way. That's why I barely stream. I barely even record fights anymore because I can't even get a solo. I'm just getting slapped around.
Yeah, and that pressure is on war fights. Like, whatever happens here is gonna go online.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got another one, Jay?
Yeah. Oh, what? Usafa, and I just pulled a 6-star shocker. Thanks, Blaze.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Dude, congrats.
Nice.
It's not a surprise from Yusafa.
Yeah, but it's awesome though. Jelly, a little bit jealous. All right, I'll say it. Yeah, it's awesome. Um, right, Shocker's just a reskin Guardian. Changed my mind. There's some very much similarities, for sure. All right, what was I gonna ask? Oh yeah, I wanted to ask about buffs. So we talked about Mantis buff because obviously she's getting tune up. We got Shuri getting tune up, but I wanted to discuss the ones that were released this month and last month, Hulk and Spider Man. Have you kind of messed around with them?
Hulk, I haven't, and I wanted to. Spider-Man, I did.
Sweet.
I like Spider-Man's buff. What I have to remind myself, and when this all started with the rebalancing and them taking older champs and kind of trying to make them useful, was that the buffs are exactly that. You're taking champs that weren't that useful, or they were only useful in the first year of the game, and making them useful now. And for someone like me, who's a Paragon and has, a lot of rank threes around the 120 mark, Spider-Man's not necessarily going to fit something in my kit and cover something I'm missing. But for a newer player who, doesn't have the roster I have, Spider-Man's going to fill, a role in their roster and actually be useful instead of just an evading armor break champ.
Okay.
So I
So
like the
what kind of
utility. He's going to
okay,
counter
sorry.
evade and unstoppable for the most part pretty easily.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who just pulled Spider-Man, would you push them to get the awakening, or would you say it's not really worth it? He's good out of the box.
I mean, so it depends on their where they are at the game and what else their roster has. Obviously, Awakened and Max Sigd, you're going to get the most benefit with his kit. Um, but it depends on what resources that person has.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah. You said you haven't played with Hulk yet, right?
No, he looks like so much fun too. He's the
Okay.
rampaging stud and
Mm-hmm.
like fury guy that we expect him to be. I just
Heck yeah.
haven't sat down and played him yet. Part of it is because I know as soon as I start playing him, I'm gonna go rank 3 him. And I'm trying to avoid that at this point in time with what's been announced and whatnot.
Hey, maybe I'll get a
Yeah.
7-star Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
So have you played around with Iceman at all?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The new
Um,
Iceman?
the buff, yeah.
Okay.
That went live, right?
It
Still in
did.
beta. Should
Yeah,
be.
I'm like us talking about it went live, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was about to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
did that happen?
Like, I don't want to talk about this if we're not
Yeah,
supposed to.
We can talk
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Yeah, his beta's live and videos have been published on his beta.
Yeah, I actually rank forward him and dumped a bunch of mutant stones into him because I was looking for a mystic that was gonna be, or sorry, not a mystic, a mutant that was just gonna be fun to play and had,
Uh-huh.
a lot of utility. And then I think it was like a couple weeks later, or maybe a month later, his buff got announced.
Yeah.
I like it. What I did the end of last season, I actually got assigned Iceman to 2 fights, and I kind of broke down those fights, explaining, or I was supposed to. I take that back. The video came out before the buff went live, or the embargo date lifted. So I wasn't able to talk about it in the war video, and I was supposed to go back in the off season to kind of touch on these points. But it was a scorpion on path 4 in section 1, and then a spider ham on hazard shift mini. Um, and my plan was to talk about like, okay, with his buff, this would have taken like a minute off on each fight because we would have had consistent frostbites here. Cold snap would have lasted longer. The frostbites would have done more damage because I would have wrapped a heavy in somewhere to increase the damage. And actually, both fights I would not have actually used special two because I needed the utility of the cold snap. So, um, I I like his buff. With the amount of utility he has, the small damage increase compared to what it is now is great.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to Iceman. He was definitely one of my first like 4-star champions that I
Yeah,
ranked
same.
up and used a lot because he had the triple immunity and stuff like that. So I'll be looking forward to that.
And he's
I'm
finally going to
glad.
be immune to frostbite and cold snap
Yeah.
Yeah, and Nova Flame.
and Nova Flame.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
That'll be a plus.
Dude, I think as soon as like Human Torch came out, I was like, there's literally like comics explaining that he'd be immune to Nova Flame, and I was like, Kabam, please, you got to update it. And then, they said they weren't gonna do it or something like that years ago, and finally, like, it's so cool to finally see it happen. Like, it's so
Different time,
awesome.
man.
Yeah,
We're in a
yeah,
good time right
absolutely.
now.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah, yeah. I'm glad we can finally have a champ that one champ at least that's immune to the Nova Flame.
Yeah.
We don't have any more like ice champs or anything like that. Water champs, do we?
Namor's water and Atuma water,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
and then ice
Um.
would probably be like Pyramid X.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Ice Tempest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Is she immune to the frostbite and cold snap?
I believe so.
not is she immune or like percent or something like that.
Well, it's like one of those, yeah, it's the reduced
She's
100%.
resistant.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Resist.
Emma Frost is close to terms it looks.
I mean, Absorbing Man's immune to cold snap too and magma.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. In a certain form. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arcus, but he's more air. Yeah, there's some coldness to him.
Yeah.
He's an
It's
alien.
like the smoke and mirror dimension or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no. Storm Pyramid X is a full immunity. It's not a percent.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Frostbite and cold snap.
Yeah,
Well, there you go.
now you know.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What else you got, Jay?
um, well, with I want to switch to the MCU real quick because obviously we keep getting more stuff for Guardians 3, and we do know Guardians 3 is going to have an event next month in May.
Oh yeah.
And I really think it's Adam Warlock and High Evolutionary. And like, what are you hoping for with those characters?
Oof. Um, uh, I can't say much because I'm not heavy into the comics. So with both of those characters, I don't know their lore enough to actually come out with what I would be hoping for with their kits.
Okay. What about based on like the looks in the MCU trailers or
Well,
anything
I
like that?
mean, I kind of like the look of both of them from the trailers, so I'm assuming they're gonna go character based or like actual model based
Yeah.
instead of comic book accurate.
And I'll tell you too is like you don't necessarily like I guess the hype around Adam Warlock definitely from the comics, but
Yeah,
from
because he was crazy in the comics,
oh
wasn't
yeah he's crazy.
Yeah.
He's
he?
one of the
Yeah.
most powerful beings in Marvel. But you know we're getting the MCU version, which is like the main thing. It's like don't like I hate to say it, like don't expect overpowered characters like Sandman for example. He's not super overpowered. It's one of those things where you know it is what it is. But
Right.
with the comics in the MCU, I'm watching the trailers. I'm like Adam Warlock's probably going to be cosmic. So you know in the
Oh
comics
yeah, class.
he's like cosmic and mystic at the same time, and I don't know if they'd really do that. So at the MCU, I really think I'm gonna go cosmic. The High Evolutionary would definitely be science in the comics, but for the MCU, I feel like he's more tech. Like he's got like even like I did like a thing today of like what classes, and I was like. Star-Lord literally calls him RoboCop. Like, if he's not tech, I'm gonna be surprised because he's got like
Yeah.
these cyborg things. Like his face is literally like almost like welded on his face. Like it's really interesting.
How many techs would that put us at? We're already at three for the year.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at the map, like
Just
so,
loading it.
yeah, like if like we're at three techs. Hold on. Yeah, we're at three techs. We're at two science, two skill, and one mystic. And Adam being cosmic makes sense because we're only getting
Yeah.
three cosmics this year, and one of the spots is surrounded by Guardians members. So like you're like that's
Oh,
probably got to be that, right?
yeah.
Um, but High Evolutionary like could be tech, like or it could be science. Like it's super interesting.
It would be the first month. Well, I guess Wakanda Forever technically had a better. I'm sorry. I still laugh at the future Ant-Man who wasn't like in the movie. And then,
Hey, I called
what
it.
was it? Rintrah who had like seconds.
Yeah.
So, and I know Atuma was in Wakanda Forever and actually had a pretty big role, just not a big speaking role.
Hmm.
Um, so he had at least had a little more, he had a bigger presence than those other two. I would say that with the High Evolutionary and Adam Warlock, we're going to probably, if they're both coming, which they should,
Yeah, definitely.
we'd have two very huge presence, like characters from the movie actually make it to the game
Nice. You
for the
saw,
first time in a while.
yeah. You saw. There's 40
Well,
techs in game.
I think the last time we got two champions from a movie was what Doctor Strange
Um.
Or was both?
and Rentra.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I guess Shuri is weird because she's technically wearing her Black Panther 1
Yeah,
outfit, and not
they're
her Black
wearing it.
Panther
Yeah.
2 outfit.
Right.
But Gore and Valkyrie would be
Yeah.
the last one
Yeah,
because they're both the outfits from that movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah. I like Gordon Valkyrie. Go. They're both dope.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they're great, amazing champions.
Great champs.
Absolutely. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and I was like, yeah, I think May's gonna have both characters in the film. They could go outside for sure. I mean, I know you would like see Beta Ray Bill Exon. And I think like the Marvel's getting delayed. I think that's probably gonna be one champion for sure. I just feel like I just have a feeling. I know they did reveal the villain of that movie being a Kree. Um, have you seen the trailer for the Marvels, by the way?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, what
I
do you
loved
think?
the
Yeah,
trailer. It was super. I loved the feel of it.
I love.
Kamala Khan screaming, "Oh my God!"
I love
Yeah,
that, dude.
it was so good.
I've rewatched that a few times because it's just just did not expect it. And it's just so
Yeah, I
funny.
mean, I get I love her role so far because it's just so much Spider-Man just in a different skin.
Yeah,
Like teenage Spider-Man in a different skin for us.
dude, she's such a
with
super
different powers.
fan, and
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's not a moment she's not on screen that I don't expect her to be a super fan for anything related to the Avengers or anything like that. Yeah, I can't wait for her to interact with Bree on screen.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm expecting one character. Like I know that villain is a Kree, like or half Kree, because she's not blue, but
Yeah.
would be I don't know. Like it's she's got half the other bangle. Sorry. But I don't know if they do it for contests. Like I just don't like
I think you mentioned maybe Spectrum too, right?
Yeah, like I think Monica's for sure coming, for
Yeah.
sure. Like Spectrum, Photon. I'm curious what they're gonna call it because like the comics
Yeah.
every couple years. Oh, it's Spectrum. Oh no, it's Photon. Oh, it's Spectrum again. And like it's so annoying. Like
Or is it Captain Marvel?
yeah, she debuted as Captain
And
Marvel
Miss
too.
Marvel. Yeah.
So with Cassie being called Cassie, I assume she's just gonna become Monica in game. I
Oh, I
really
can see that.
yeah
Rambo.
yeah
Lieutenant Rambo.
exactly. Um, yeah, she's a cool character too. Like, I'm really excited for Monica. She's in the Con Champions comic books. She could be science. She could be cosmic. Cause like it's such a cool character.
Tell you what, I'm ready for Secret Invasion.
Yeah, dude. Oh my
Yo.
gosh.
Yeah, I'm ready for some scrolls, and I want to see what they do.
I'm
I
I'm
want to know who's a scroll.
I'm excited for just some like a hardcore TV show because like that is giving us some like Captain America Winter Soldier vibes the way
Yeah.
it's looking, and I want that like that hardcore
Center
gritty
around Fury.
Marvel. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when he's driving in that van or that car, that sedan, whatever, or
hmm
the SUV.
Mhm. It looks like a fun show, honestly. Just I don't know.
It looks
looks
action
fun.
packed.
Yeah.
It looks tense.
Yeah.
Action packed thriller,
Yeah.
like who's a scroll, who can you trust? Nick Fury just going.
Yeah, I want it to be
Back.
tense.
He's back and he means business.
I love it. He
Um,
goes to a grave and finds some firearms in a grave he hid.
Yeah. His own grave. It's his life model decoy.
Yeah, a second grave because it doesn't match the other grave that he has. So, like, how many graves does he have?
Nick Fury.
He's got
love it.
one for every LMD.
Yeah, just like contest.
Yeah. So what else you got over there, Jay? Are we got out of notes?
Yeah, man, we're about to an hour too.
Yeah.
All right.
So if somebody were to stumble upon MP Blaze's YouTube channel, what video would you recommend?
Hmm. That is a good question because they're all just war videos. Most recent one probably would be that 10 fight one with Quicksilver, Chavez, and I think who else did I use? Dang, who else did I use that war? It'll come to me. I'm gonna go Google it.
Was
Yeah, I
it?
would probably watch the war against Salty this season, season 41, War 2.
Yeah, Thing was the other one, right?
Thing, yep, that's right. I ended up fighting Nova with that instead of Chavez. Yeah, I'd go watch that one.
Sweet.
You get to see a champ that's not used that often in War Attack. You get to see usually a champion that's usually a defender Thing, using the tactic. And then Chavez has just been out there, man, as a very reliable mystic for a lot of the planetary endurance champions. So I took a lot of key Chavez fights there in that war. So, and she was recently buffed, so we can toss that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like a lot of people have been using America Chavez lately, ever since the buff. Or is there something that you particularly like about her tune-up?
So like, well, okay, so her tune-up made her hit harder. So that's nice. Um, and that's, I mean, bottom line, that's pretty much it, unless you're facing someone with a Pierce buff, in which case she reduces the potency for that. But it was the hitting harder with each dimension, each buff being up. Um, the part that I liked about her before that was kind of her rotation to kind of get her supercharged, and the utility of one of her dimensions, the negative zone. Um, she's shining a lot more this season due to subdue. I mean, having Fate Seal when you activate a special attack and having neutralize chance on every hit, that's going to play like huge, especially against the global that it's meant to counter. Um, but outside of that, she was already kind of hitting cosmics or buff champs really hard. Um, and she had this ability to reverse power gain by 60% per negative zone open. So two of them, and you can maintain two pretty well. You're sending it the other way, as long as the node didn't have any increased power gain. So I always liked that about her, that she had that easy access passive way to reverse the power gain.
Yeah. Does she have a way to like chain heavies on specials? Or
Yeah,
is
so
it
she's much like she's just like Wasp, where
okay?
in the
Yeah.
middle of your combo, if you charge your heavy, it stuns them.
Okay. Or yeah, Doom. You
Doom
know.
too, but it's Doom's through that shock debuff.
Right. Right. Okay.
So there
There's
doesn't
no
have to
there's
be
no
anything.
debuff.
You can
Right.
fight
Okay.
a sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's no debuff involved.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Very nice. Um, I'll have to. I don't think I have her as a 6-star, but when I do, I'll take her up for sure.
I do. She's sweet.
She's fun.
Yeah, I got Wicked recently, so
Oh
he's
yeah.
another.
Yeah, Wiccan's fun too.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
have a few Wiccan fights.
What are you talking about, Monica? Monica would totally have the ultimate synergy with America. So, just saying, a little buff, a little even more. Big
Very
sweet.
nice. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Blaze, do you have anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, I think we covered a lot, honestly.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, Jay, I want to thank you for streaming us live on YouTube.
Yeah.
I want to thank MP Blaze for being our guest this evening.
Thank you
And
much.
yeah,
Of course.
thanks, chat, for hanging out with us.
Yes. Thank you guys.
Yeah, anytime.
All right. Yeah, have a good night, everybody, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.